last but not least, we're going to talk about PVC pressure-sensitive cover strip. So new to CCM, new to the industry is this product. So why in the past has this been kind of unachievable, right? So pressure sensitives and PVC were like oil and water, right? Not compatible. So what we've done is we've developed a low VOC step 1 activator to inhibit the plasticizer migration. So what happens in this typical process is if we were just to stick a pressure sensitive down on top of a PVC membrane, we add a lot of liquid plasticizer to that sheet, and that gives it its flexibility. So what happens over time is that liquid plasticizer migrates into the tape, essentially liquefying or plasticizing that tape. So not a good long-term solution. So we developed a low VOC step 1 PVC activator that you see Jim putting down right now. So Ryan's going to hold up the can here and just show you what we look like here, but it is essential and it's absolutely imperative to this process. So all the magic is in this very first step. So kind of why is this important to have a pressure sensitive on a PVC system? Well, in the past, you were relegated to a white, gray, or tan coated metal or clad metal that you had to weld to. This really expands those options, right? So you can have any kind or painted edge metal now, and then you can flash to it, right? So Jim is putting down the step 1 activator, and he's only on top of the PVC, right? So he's got a nice monolithic coverage here. There's no need to put that step 1 activator on top of the metal itself, right? We don't need to activate anything there. So a common question we get in the field is, what if my guy messes up and he puts the activator on top of the metal and the PVC? It's no big deal. It's still going to intend or perform as intended. So if that happens, no big deal. You're just kind of wasting product at that point. So now Jim is going to break out the step 2 primer. This is the second step in the process, obviously, and he's going to put this down just like we would on the TPO side of this, right? So now what he's going to do, you'll see he's checking that, make sure that's flashed off. The step 1 activator is heavily solvated. It does flash off extremely rapidly, even in cooler temperatures such as today. So he's going to come back and use this step 2 product, and he's going to come over top of the activator that he just put down, and he's also going to coat the metal now. So outside of that step 1 activator step, this is going to be identical to the TPO side of the business on the cover strip, right? So why was Carlisle the only ones to be able to develop this process? Well, we manufacture the adhesives and primers, we manufacture the film that goes on top of it, the PVC and KEE, and we make the tape itself. So we understand that relationship between all three, and we were able to come up with the chemistry to make it all jive. So Jim's going to put this primer down. I want to talk just a little bit about the cover strip itself while we're waiting for this to flash off. So it does take a little bit longer than the step 1 activator. So if you look at this cover strip, we'll kind of roll this out. Ryan, you might want to just hold that up for me. So if you take a look at this cover strip, it looks almost identical to the TPO version, right? We did not just take a TPO product and put it in a PVC box. So the reason why I tell you that is a fully formulated KEE HP film that's laminated to the tape. Why is that important? Number one, we want like materials on like materials, right? They perform differently, they expand and contract differently, they pick up dirt differently. So we went ahead and we made a KE HP film here. Now, that's really important when we're talking about application. Because that is a PVC or KE film, anytime that tape comes in contact with itself, we need to repeat that step 1, step 2 process, right? So anytime we're turning a corner, anytime we're in an end lap situation, we're repeating that process. So right now, our current product offering, we are offering this in a white, gray, and tan. They come in 6-inch rolls, 100 feet to a roll, 2 to a carton. We do not sell this as a kit. There are 4 different product codes here. We have the cover strip itself, we have the step 1 activator, we have a low VOC step 2 primer, and then we have a step 2 primer non-low VOC. So they are not bundled together. The 2 primers come in 2 1-gallon cans to a carton. So Jim's going to give this a little tack test here, and now he's going to install this just like he's done for years and years and years on TPO. So the tape technology is the same. We cut our teeth on the TPO side of the business a long time ago, so we really have this tape technology dialed in, and we transitioned, and now we're able to offer the PVC product here. So we are currently capping this at a 20-year warranty, and this is the only detail currently. We're exploring a few others that we are allowing. So stripping in flat metal flanges or edge metal. So you did not hear me say stripping in plates and fasteners, angle changes, or things like that. We're not doing tie-ins right now. We are exploring a few down the road, but we're kind of walking before we run here. So, just like normal, Jim's going to put this in. You guys are in for a treat because Jim's been applying cover strips since Moby Dick was a guppy. So he's going to put this in for us. He's going to follow it up with hand pressure. And then Brandon is hanging off the roof, and he's going to roll it for us perpendicular to it. And that's really all there is to this. But just remember, this expands the capability to use any color edge metal without having to step up to a more expensive two-piece clip-on system. So it gives you that ability to use any color that you want. Question?
Touching on how contractors can mess it up. If we go on a roof and the boxes have gotten wet.
Sure. So if you look at it closely, you're looking at a little bit of pre-production stuff we had left over, but we determined that that was an issue, right? So what we have done is we embossed PVC every few feet on the roll. So in the manufacturing process, there is a roll that embosses PVC. It happens all the time, right? Packaging gets wet, gets destroyed. Another update we have made that you don't see on the cans that we had out here was they were both white labels, easily confused. So we did take the Step 1 activator, the Step 2 primers, and we made them all different colors on the label because you don't want to cross-contaminate those products, dipping a roller in the opposite bucket, obviously. So we made that. That was some of the early feedback we got on. A second update that we are currently in the middle of, you'll notice that when we put those primers out, they are very close or similar in color. That not necessarily poses a problem for the applicator. It's more of a problem for Carlisle and in our inspection process, right? So we need to ensure that this goes down as we intend it. Step 1 activator, Step 2 primer on top of that. So we are looking at dyeing that Step 1 activator. The front runner right now is a red or pinkish type color. The problem becomes you'll see that we have a yellow edge hanging out here right now, right? Kind of unsightly. We don't want that to be there forever. UV does a fantastic job of breaking those primers down and bleaching them out. So we picked that red color because it doesn't stain the membrane and it goes away within a few months after application. I had another question. Yes, absolutely. So the question was, can you use it with a KEE sheet? Absolutely. You can use this with a standard liquid plasticized sheet or a KEHP or KEE sheet. Your 1 year shelf life on the tape, very similar to everything else that we produce, was the shelf life. Sure.
Is there any requirement for caulking or etching?
There is not. So overlaps or something like that, there is not. That is a finished detail. Details are identical to our TPO cover strip. We have not. The only ones we don't really go over top of or is galvanized or a copper, but all Kynar, all painted metal, we've had no trouble sticking to. Sure. So if you wanted to use a liquid flashing to terminate that edge metal on a PVC system, we absolutely could do that. So were you asking on the liquid flashing side, you don't actually need the activator step? Different question.
On the tape side,
Yeah.
what is the activator doing to the PVC membrane?
So essentially what that activator is doing is it's completely flashed off and it's just inhibiting the migration of that plasticizer on top. It's sitting on, it's not penetrating in. There was something else.
Either one of the liquid materials, activator or the primer, had to be stirred.
So we do like to stir it up, good roofing practice. I know we have different products that require different things. It is written on the label there that we do like to see both of those be agitated before we put them down.